Good morning, Butterfield Trail Village. It's good to see all these smiling faces. Welcome to our town meeting. Well, March is coming in beautifully. This weather has got everybody outside. The sunshine makes you feel so good. So if you can get out, please do. I think it'll benefit your health for sure. Another great thing about March is Butterfield will be turning 39. Woo. That's when we stop counting, absolutely. Despite the elevators, Butterfield will always be 39. I will have a little historical account of our founders and their challenges and accomplishments on Monday the 10th, which is our actual anniversary, here in the hall. So I hope you can join me. Many of you know the history of Butterfield, but if you're new and you're not familiar with the story, please come listen. It's quite, basically, I'll call it a love story. So this morning, I want to start with Jennifer. She needs to get to a class, so we'll let her go first, and we have a lot of announcements this morning.
Good morning. And actually, I'm going to work on stuff for the Spain trip. We leave for Portugal and Spain on the 31st, so we're getting close. But speaking of the weather, hikes, they start mid-March. We're on our way. Our first hike is going to be Devil's Den. We're going to have 2 hikes going out at one location. You can do the easy hike or the hard hike, and you can make that decision that morning depending on how you feel. Both hikes are going to be wonderful. I also plan on a picnic lunch because you know how beautiful it is at Devil's Den. And then we're going to be having some hikes. The Northwest Arkansas Land Trust is going to join us on 3 this year, and we're going to get a lot of information through that. Later in April, we're going to do a hike with the Ozark Natural Science Center in Huntsville. They're a wonderful organization, and they're going to cater lunch for us. So this hiking season's going to be all in the woods, and it's going to be a wonderful hiking season. So when you get the announcement, make sure and sign up fast because that bus fills up. And if you don't make it on the bus, please reach out to me. We'll figure something out. You can meet us. I don't know, I want all of you on the hike, so if you want to be there, we will figure it out. Also, I don't know if you were at the talk on ultra-processed foods yesterday, but tomorrow we'll be meeting kind of near the bistro, and I have 3 wonderful interns. Did I say tomorrow? I meant Monday. Monday at 1, sorry. The pressure of talking to so many people. Anyway, Monday at 1, next to the little general store and the bistro, we will all meet. I have 3 wonderful interns who are very tech savvy, and they will help you if you want to. From the talk, we came up with an app. It's very simple to use, and you scan the food that you're interested in, and it'll tell you its health rating. So if you're interested in doing that, even if you did not make it to the talk, you're welcome to join us, and we'll get the app on your phone, and we will show you how to use the app in our general store. Jill King, thank you. She gave me the heads up that the general store may be pretty empty because we're at the end of the month. If it is, don't worry. I will have checked it and bring some stuff for us to learn to scan, and you'll always have the general store to go to. So put Monday at 1 on your calendar to start getting the healthiest foods into your house. Let's say also you use the app, you scan your favorite food and it gives you a really bad score. Don't worry, the app will then tell you some other options in the same vein that are a little healthier. So it can be a really good thing. Anyway, I hope to see you in class. I hope to see you on hikes. I hope to see you Monday at 1. I'm off to get working on our trip to Spain, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Jennifer, I came to your program, and I'm sorry, I still have to have my Belvitas once in a while. But those of you who did attend the program, it was excellent. She did a great job on ultra processing, and we discussed salad dressings, or she discussed salad dressings. And many of you heard her talk about olive oils and the different options for that. So I will be running a bus in March. It won't be on your schedule, but I'll send a telegram out of when we're going to go to Fresh Harvest Olive Oil store in Rogers. And they have some great infused oils for dressing. So there you go. I have a guest today. Her name is Kelly Wilkes. Many of you have already heard that Itzel Vargas, our massage therapist, was no longer coming to Butterfield. Itzel lives in Eureka Springs. And she was driving over here for your massages. And that got to be a little challenging, a little expensive. So she's opted to stay in Eureka Springs where her business is growing very well. So I've been on the search, and we found a wonderful young lady. Her name is Kelly Wilkes. She's a licensed massage therapist. She's a graduate of the University of Arkansas. And I'm going to have Kelly come and tell you about massage therapy and what she can do for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly. And just for a little background, also, my grandparents were here at Butterfield from 88, I think it was, for 20 years. So I'm very familiar. It's grown quite a bit since the last time I was in here, though. So for massage, the benefits can help with your circulation. They can help with your mood. They can help with your health overall. And I'm here as a licensed massage therapist to be able to work on your population, which I'm also kind of part of, and that is the geriatric population. And I can do lomi and deep tissue for those who have that necessity as well. Some general stretching and others. So I can take you from when you're very viable to also when you have specific health needs, and I'm good at working around that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to be at the back, and afterwards I've got some cards that I'll give you. We're still working on figuring the schedule out right now, and so it may be a week or two before I actually start, but I will get your information and you will have my information and we can start corresponding, because that will help me know if I need to have more mornings available here, more afternoons available here, and which days might be best. I also have an office in downtown Fayetteville for those who aren't part of Butterfield, so I just need to work around what I'm doing there. So, anything else? Okay. I'm working on that, but it's probably going to be about 80 for an hour, but it'll be pretty much a full hour. And so then I take a little bit of time for you to get on and off the table. So, but I'm working, I need to talk with y'all and see what's going to work best for y'all. And that's where if you do get my info and you're interested, let's have some dialogue. And that way. Yes, I'm looking at that as well. Yes, I'm looking at half of an hour as well. Anything else? Okay, he's on the phone. He doesn't count. Okay, I look forward to meeting y'all. I have had a few of you as clients previously at my other place. So if you want, I will tell you in private who some are, so that or maybe they can reach out and let you know themselves. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the back.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We're looking forward to working with you. Real quick on some highlights for March coming up. Your calendar should be delivered today. And there's a lot of great things going on. I mentioned Butterfield's 39th anniversary. Oh, and not only are you going to hear me talk about boring history stuff, we're going to have fabulous cake. So you have to come for that. So Tuesday the 4th is Mardi Gras. How many of you understand what's going to be happening on Tuesday the 4th for Mardi Gras? Okay. Well, for those of you who haven't paid attention or are a bit confused, which I apologize for that, and I'm going to apologize for Memo, because we weren't trying to confuse anybody about great food on Mardi Gras Day. But you have so many choices, and that's the best part. I will be hosting a Mardi Gras lunch here in the hall with live music by Jamie Hall and the Can't Wait to Play Boys. So that'll be a fun day. We'll have lots of decorations, serving king cake for dessert. And then, it's going to be red beans and rice with andouille sausage and some type of a salad with grilled Cajun shrimp and king cake. No cost. That's my gift to you as your program director. But you have to sign up, and it is limited. Your other choices are a wonderfully delicious Cajun meal at lunch and dinner in the dining room. And you can see the menu on the digital board outside the dining room. And of course, that would require one of your fob scans. So I hope you have all the Mardi Gras you could possibly want on Tuesday the 4th. I'm so excited about the resident lecture series. Thanks to Helen McElree's idea, we have been able to secure several wonderful lectures from residents who are talking about their careers, their hobbies, their interests, and we're lucky in March because we're going to have 2. Dr. Jerry Rose is going to recap his recent trip to Iraq. It was his vacation. And he's going to have beautiful slides and talk about the ancient history of that region. And so many of you are busy during the day. You can either attend the 2:30 presentation here in the hall on Thursday, March 6th, or you can come at 7 p.m. where he will repeat the same wonderful program. Thank you, Jerry, for doing that. We really appreciate it. And then on Thursday the 20th, Jan Gosnell is going to give a very unique presentation. How many of you remember the television miniseries, The Blue and the Gray? Well, Jan was a ghost artist, and so he drew pictures of the characters that were in this movie, but then there was an artist that was in the film actually documenting what was happening during the Civil War. And so his drawings were used in the film, which were actually supposed to be of the artist who lived during that time. So I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous presentation, and you can come hear that on Thursday the 20th at 2:30. And then on Monday the 17th, we have more celebration. It's St. Patrick's Day. A wonderful lunch here in the hall as well with some live music with Ben Harris's band called Ragtaggle. So we're excited to have Ben come back, and he always brings us some fun music. Someone asked, and I'm going to make arrangements in April. We're running a bus to the Schmeeding Center. I think it's the 3rd Monday in April for the AARP driving course. That is where you can go. It's like an 8 or 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. course, and then you are eligible for a discount on your car insurance. So I hope you watch your April calendar for that. And that's all I have for the day. I wish you a wonderful, happy, warm weekend. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, and then we'll close with Kelly Sire.
All right, well, good morning. I gave you the majority of the update just this past Monday, or the Monday before last, on kind of the updates in the quarter. But just to kind of spin off of that is a couple of things. The elevator, of course, as I mentioned, it would be done at the end of the month. And like someone mentioned, it wasn't this month, and it's not going to be this month. So it will be, they're telling us next week. So everyone has been here. We've had all hands on deck for the last 3 days to try to get this done. But we are still waiting on the elevator company. So they tell us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, who knows? So we're hoping by the end of next week now. So we feel pretty sure all the work has been done. We just have to get it certified. After everything was done, they came back and said, well, you need to replace this, or you might want to replace this. Things we probably could have done a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago, but they just told us about this past week. So that is coming to an end, hopefully. So the healthcare sinks, that project is also coming to an end. We're almost to the point of replacing all 24 of the sinks that needed to be replaced to make them wheelchair accessible. So excited about that. The Cottage Foundation, we're finishing up on that project. It's coming to an end. The motherboard was replaced on the front entrance gate that had been fried, so you may not even notice. That's just that went very well. And the therapy pool, I mentioned that last Monday was going to be cleaned. It has been cleaned, so if you haven't been by there, it's sparkling blue now. It doesn't look in that terrible green color anymore, so that has been done. So that's all the updates that I have. I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, but I will do it just like I do at the resident forum. If you have any questions, I'll stay around here for as long as you want to stay today, tonight, as long as you want to stay, just like I always do. So if you have any questions, please come up after the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to take this down because y'all are going to hear from me for a little while, so I might want to walk around a little bit. So one of the things that we have discussed in the leadership team is that, and I think Kevin has mentioned this in a couple of prior town halls, is that you need to hear more from the individual departments and the folks that are leading those departments. And so we've decided to start integrating that into this meeting from time to time. And today, it actually was supposed to be last month, and we had a little equipment issue. But today is the day that you get to hear everything you ever wanted to know and more about the sales and marketing team. So I've got, I think, it's up. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'm just going to work through this presentation. There are slides in here that tell you what we're about, but then there are also some things that I've added in here that I think will help to answer some questions that you may have had about sales and marketing in the past or the Carriage Club. So be looking for a little bit of statistical information in here. Also, I should comment that the data that you're going to see is based on the end of last year. So it's a cumulative report of data for 2024. I like to kind of make a year a clean break. So just know that some of these numbers may be slightly different now that we're almost through the first quarter of the new year. But I think for all intents and purposes, this is going to be sufficient to give you a good picture of what we're about. So, let's see, I can't see Nathan. Oh, he's doing it already, even though I can't see him. Okay, so the introduction is that what you should know about the sales and marketing team is that we're a highly capable team, and our focus is on sales and marketing, and we believe that this team is really the secret sauce to a lot of Butterfield's success. And of course, the other secret sauce is you, because we don't achieve what we do without having residents who help us tell that story as well. So I want to always make sure that you know how much we recognize that. We have an amazing overall staff here at Butterfield, but our residents are really such an important part of that story. With the 14 members that we have a really solid balance of skills, and our skills are very different from each other. I will introduce everybody here in a moment, but as you already know about the marketing team, we're very different. Different personalities, different skill sets, and I think that is a hallmark of any really strong team, is that we're not all the same, and that we're good at different things. So I think that's important. I would say that, the success of this team over the last several years is really what drives a very enviable occupancy rate for Butterfield, and ensures that we do have the revenue coming into this community that is an absolute necessity to make sure that we're sustainable. So we think about this every single day. Every decision that we make, every interaction that we have, somewhere behind that is us thinking about ensuring that we are sustainable as a community and that we're generating the revenue that is necessary to ensure that. So next slide, Team Awesome. That's what I'd like to call them, because I think we really do have an incredible team of folks that are running the sales and marketing aspects for Butterfield. These are all familiar faces to you, but just to kind of go through and make sure that you know sort of how we break up our responsibilities. We have the wonderful Alice Dawson, probably one of the friendliest people you'll ever meet. I know the very first time I met her, her stride is what I noticed. She walks with such purpose and mission, and that's really how she attacks every day that she comes to work, and we really value her. She manages all of our general inquiries. So when that phone rings to the sales and marketing office, regardless of what extension it's going to, it's often going to be Alice that picks up that phone, and she does a fantastic job. She coordinates all of our campus tours and appointments that are happening. She works in tandem with Leanne to do this, but that's a really important job, and there's a lot going on with that. And then she also provides really key future support, or support to future residents, making sure that they have what they need, that transition is smooth. You know, if she needs to point somebody to another resource, she does that. So Alice is really key to us having smooth operations in our department. Everyone here knows Dave Marks. He is definitely visible all over campus every single day. Dave is actually celebrating his 15th anniversary at Butterfield, which I think is just incredible. And it's that sort of longevity and senior knowledge and institutional knowledge that I think is really key to our department. So Dave is really important to what we do. He, of course, oversees the unit selections process, so everything that relates to renovations and upgrades, that is Dave's job to then work with the team that's actually managing the construction in the facility side of things. It can be a really hard job because back to the point of us trying to retain our sustainability, make sure that we're spending our money wisely, we have streamlined some of our renovation processes. And that means that Dave has had to say no a little bit more over the last couple of years than he has in the past. And sometimes that's not received very well, but we charge him with that responsibility and we take it very, very seriously. Leanne Pacheco. Leanne is another just critical member of our team, and she has such a key role in what we do. She is the one who really guides our incoming residents and the family members through the financial and approval process. There are so many questions, so many concerns. People worry or people are excited. They're bringing in financial advisors sometimes. They're bringing in other family members. She does so much education about how Butterfield works and then makes sure that every little nuance of that paperwork is done correctly, that it's on file, that she keeps track of that. She is actually the one who does 99.9% of the campus tours. And of course, many of you know how important that is, and you are active participants in that yourself by giving us your beautiful residences to show off. And so thank you from my whole team for allowing us that opportunity, because that represents Butterfield better than anything else that we could do. Having a model to show, and like you see in a lot of communities, is all well and good, but I think it's so much better to see a home that is lived in and how people actually utilize that space that actually live there. So thank you for being a partner to us in that process. And then, of course, there's me. I'm Kelly Sire, and my job is really to guide and support the sales and marketing team however they need it. I look at myself not as the boss. I've never liked that title. I look at myself as somebody to remove barriers, to help with communication, to just make their jobs easier, get things out of the way, or get them the resources they need to be successful. I also oversee all of the printed and digital marketing assets, so things that you see that are representing Butterfield. Good chance I've actually built those, or I'm working with our agency of record, Doxa Vantage, to create some of those things. And then I also help to support all of the internal communication efforts. So my job is both internal and external facing. Next slide. So the sales process at Butterfield is critical in not just getting the unit sold, but in building a relationship up to that point. So as you know, because of our Carriage Club, we have some very long relationships with some of the people that are eventually going to be residents here. And so that sales process actually requires that we really navigate those relationships for a long period of time. They can also offshoot, like I said, into family members and friends that are also concerned and anxious to make sure that their loved ones are going to be happy here. So lots of relationship building. The key responsibilities that sort of bubble up to that are prospect management. So that means any kind of incoming requests that we get about Butterfield. We field all of that. And then if it feels like they are within the realm that makes sense to be at Butterfield, then of course we send additional information, field lots of phone calls, answer lots of questions. We also make sure that people understand what the financial commitment is to be here. A lot of people, when they contact Butterfield for the first time, don't understand the life plan or the life care scenario for a retirement community. So we have a lot of explanation that we have to provide to explain how it is that works and if that's even the right fit for the person who's inquiring. We do all of the tours and, of course, the counseling that goes along with the process of becoming a new resident. In 2024, we did 106 tours. That's a lot of tours. That's a lot of you opening your homes to prospects. And again, it is so appreciated. And then, of course, we provide ongoing, frequent in-person and phone guidance. So we have drop-ins, we have people call, people make appointments. There's a lot of activity. And then, of course, we are responsible for the closing and the move-in process. So back to Leanne's role, she drafts all of that paperwork. She works with external contacts like financial planners, banks, sometimes even title companies, folks that need to be part of that process. So that's a lot of paperwork to have her hands on. And then we conduct all of the unit closings when it's time for folks to actually get the keys and come to campus. Next slide. The Carriage Club wait list, both a loved and beleaguered part of Butterfield's organization. You know, we are very, very lucky to have the depth of our wait list that we do. This is pretty much unheard of. And so I like to say that in a lot of ways, Butterfield is kind of a unicorn. The fact that we have so many people that want to come here should give you enormous confidence in the long-term sustainability of this community. That said, it gets a little unwieldy, and we know that. But at this point, right now, the fact that we have 370-ish folks, applications that are awaiting coming to Butterfield is something to be really proud of, because that is a reflection of the fact that this community is thriving and doing well, and that our residents are happy, and that we have a model that's working for people. I should point out, of that 370 applications, that is applications, not individual people. So that represents more people because you've got some that are couples, some that are singles. So that number is just 370 of how many applications would like to come in to have a residence at Butterfield. Of that number, 133 of those are single folks, and 237 of them are couples. I thought you would also be interested to see sort of how long people are waiting. And so if you look at the kind of arching graphic there, you'll see that 0 to 5 years that people have been waiting is 300 of that 370. So obviously the largest number. 6 to 10 year wait, that represents 63 people on that list. And then folks that are 11 or more years that they've been waiting, that's 7. Now, when you look at those numbers, that tells you a lot of different things. And one of those things may be that, yes, they're on the wait list, but no, they're not ready to come here. So you've got people that applied really, really early because they knew they were looking for something really unique, or that it might take a while to get. So they got on that wait list really early. We're not calling those folks until they're ready. So just know that, we're not working through a list of 370 applications every single time. We're trying to find your next new neighbor. Okay. Carriage Club wait list, continue just a little bit of a snapshot. Another thing that I thought you would find interesting is to see of that number, what's the breakdown of where people's first choices are in terms of what type of residence they would like. And as you'll see, we've only got 3 folks on that wait list that have listed a studio as their first choice. Most people want just a little bit more space. 33 of those folks are looking for a 1-bedroom. 25 of them are looking for a 1-bedroom deluxe. 51 are looking for a 2-bedroom standard. 14 would like a grand, ultra, or larger. 85 wanted the 2-bedroom deluxe. And my goodness, that's a popular floor plan. They really love that one. 76 would love to be in a cottage, and 83 are looking for a village home. So these are first choices. We now, in our Carriage Club system, allow somebody to have 2 choices. So they, we're always going to try to get them their first choice. But sometimes when we see something that comes along and somebody's pretty high on the wait list for another property that they've said, or another floor plan that they've said would work for them, we may call them with a second choice. And if they feel like they've been waiting long enough, then sometimes we've got some folks that will accept their second choice. Another thing that has slowly but surely been sort of phasing down to just a very small number is our contractual moves. This has been a really good thing for us to start phasing out contractual moves. And what that meant was that we were having people for a long time, and I think this harkened back to when Butterfield didn't have a wait list quite as long as what we do now. We were allowing folks to come in and take a small unit, like a 1-bedroom, one-bedroom deluxe, with the idea that they would then eventually, when it became available, move into their larger preferred unit. The problem with how that was set up, it worked great at the time when we were trying to get Butterfield full, but now that Butterfield's full, what was happening was that people were getting a small unit, maybe or maybe not moving into it, and waiting for the next option to come up for them. And they were sort of jumping the line. Plus, they were keeping people who actually wanted the small unit and wanted to live there permanently, keeping those folks from having access. And that was a big problem. So we decided we don't need to do contractual moves anymore. The only exception to that, and the numbers kind of show you there with the studios, we don't have a whole lot of people that want a studio. So occasionally when a studio apartment becomes available and we're not able to sell it within a reasonable amount of time, then we may offer that as a contractual move. So we do have some folks that fit that category that still wanted to be at Butterfield, and they are still waiting for their larger preferred unit size, but we didn't want that unit to sit empty. So we went ahead and we sell it as a contractual move. At this point, we only have 7 of those. At one point, that was a big number, and it was really wreaking havoc on the Carriage Club list and getting people into their preferred size unit. So this is a good thing. Next thing, Carriage Club member participation. I know this has been a controversial topic too with some, and concerned that the involvement of Carriage Club has supplanted the ability for residents to have access to certain activities. And I definitely want to address that. There have been some things that we have done to try to ensure that that doesn't happen. We do have some active policies at Butterfield that relate to how many people can participate. Is there a cost for them to participate? Do they have access to transportation? We are serious about how this is managed, and the Carriage Club is very, very aware of the rules that guide our actions on this. So as you know, for many, many years, our Carriage Club has given a lot of access to campus. And so in 2024, I wanted to show you just kind of what that actually looked like. We now have a request process. So every month, like, you all get just a nice digital copy of the calendar just before the new month to come that tells you what's going to be coming. You would have gotten it just a couple of days ago. We do a similar one like that for Carriage Club, except that it has buttons for them to click to be able to reserve activities that they want to participate in. So this has been a really nice kind of centralized way for us to get people onto a request list to be involved with certain activities. And then what transportation does, and they are very diligent with this, is they look at the sign-up sheets that you all do to participate in activities. They look at the requests that we have from the Carriage Club. They fill it up completely with everybody who's a resident that we need to take care of. And then, if there is space available, transportation team will call or email the Carriage Club member to say, we do have a spot for you. Even then, there are occasionally situations when a resident will sign up for something really late, like right before an event, and the Carriage Club member will have been told that they can participate. They come to get on the bus to maybe go to the Razorback basketball game or something like that, and we find out that we actually have a full bus, and we deny them transportation. Even though we had let them know, we always let them know too that if something happens and that bus fills up with residents, residents get first priority. So I just want to be absolutely clear. That is how we do that. In 2024, we offered the option for 251 of our programs, events, transportation options to be open to Carriage Club members. Of that number, only 109 of those actually had Carriage Club members request to participate. And so that's about 43% of our total number of available activities actually had somebody say, I want to take you up on it. A lot of those are onesies, twosies. They're things like Margarita Monday or one of our dining outings. Lots of it involves transportation to Razorback games. So these are not activities that are keeping you from having access to things that are happening at Butterfield. Total number, even though we, remember that we have 370 applicants on our Carriage Club list, we had 634 total reservations requested. So that's not that big of a number, really, when you think about it. And again, these were far and away things that weren't even remotely close to getting full. And if they were full, we had to decline their request. 17% of those requests were actually represented in two different events. So 107 of that 634 number were for the Special Care Open House. And the only reason we took reservations for that was just to help us plan, to kind of help us have some idea of how much food to have and what to expect. That was a public event. So that was an open house for the world to come see our renovation. And the other was Larry Foley's film screening. That was really popular, the one about Tawnytown. So we had a lot of requests for that one. But that too was one that the second showing of that we opened up to the public. So the Carriage Club is not keeping you from participating in the things that you want to do. All right, off of Carriage Club, on to renovations and move-in. So in that area, and again, as you know, this relates more to what Dave Marks works on. The responsibilities for that involve assessing what the scope of work is going to be for any unit that becomes available. And as you know, that can vary dramatically. So if you're talking about a unit that's been lived in for 15 years, the renovations to that are probably going to be pretty significantly different than one that maybe was lived in for a year or two. So he has to get in there and figure out, based on the guidelines that we have for what we can do to a unit now, he figures that out. He works with Cody on the facilities side, and they walk through and they make determinations. And then that information is what we use to talk to a prospective new resident as they are looking at the unit. We will tell them what it is we will do to that unit. Then he manages the unit selections process. All of you have been through that at some point along the way, and it's really no different than it was before. He just sits down and helps everybody figure out what's going to be done, what's it going to look like. And then the project communication, he is responsible for making sure that throughout that renovation process that you're getting updates, that people are aware of kind of where things stand. If there's a decision that needs to be made, he is guiding that process and then working directly with the facilities and the construction teams to get that done. It can be a tough job because across 2 departments, you've got to juggle who's doing what, when it gets done, who orders what, who installs what. It's a lot. And so he stays on top of a lot of details. The next area has more to do with me. This is the marketing and PR aspect of our department. And really, my full objective with our marketing and PR is to maintain a high standard of internal and external communication. And I believe that our visibility, whether it's our internal customers, our staff, or it's external customers, is about reinforcing our strong reputation at Butterfield. Your mom or your dad might have told you somewhere along the way that the most important thing you have is your reputation, and that is true. And as long as we continue to tell the story of this place and respond to people in an appropriate way and share our culture, that reputation is solid. So that is very much my job. I kind of refer to myself sometimes as chief storyteller. Because I think it is so important that we share with the broader world, but amongst ourselves too. What happens here? Why is this a good place to live? Why come here? It's also important to recognize that if you ever take your eye off the ball of doing that, it will take you a long time to regain that reputation. So I know sometimes when we're looking at fiscal responsibility and you're figuring out where do we spend our money, it's real easy to say, marketing, take that off. If you do that, if you go quiet, people start to wonder why. If they're used to hearing from you, if you have actually established yourself as having a reputation for how active aging looks, how this can happen in Northwest Arkansas, and then suddenly you stop talking about it, people wonder why. And so we don't ever want to be in that situation. We always want to be a little bit of a thought leader on what active, healthy aging looks like, because you all represent that. And so it's important we tell that story. Internal communication has, since I've been here, and I'm getting close to 5 years, which is just amazing. This part of my job has really evolved a lot, and I think it's super important. And that is that we're letting you know everything that's happening and doing it in a different set of formats that appeal to you, how you use technology, how you don't use technology, trying to ensure that that information is getting out however it is that you need to receive that. And I think you've seen some evolution of this over the years. One of the things that I spend a lot of time working on is those e-blasts. When you get an email and it probably looks like it's coming from Ricky or it looks like it's coming from Jennifer, it's actually coming from me, because I work with those folks to figure out what that message needs to be, and then I build it and send it out. So that's a big part of my job, and I'm thrilled to do it because it tells me so much about how actively the directors here are looking to do great things for you. So I get to have a little bit of advanced information on some of those things sometimes, and I think it's just amazing what is being done and created here to give you a good experience. So last year, I sent out 122 e-blasts, and that's not just an email. That's a designed, has graphics, it has links. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into that. So it's not just shooting off an email. There's a lot of effort that goes into that. Some of those, we then take that same graphic and the general message, and you see those come through on your Telegram as well. Who likes the Telegram app? That makes me happy to see. I feel like that has changed so much about how we're able to communicate with you efficiently and quickly. I know, so many of those messages you see are coming from Patricia, and it's just given her such a efficient way to get important information to you rapidly. So I'm happy to see that you all are using it and that you like the platform. I think it's exceptional. Graphic assets, all the things that you see that are printed or even the website. Those, I support a lot of requests for those things, and that's another area that's kind of evolved internally. So there are different committees or groups here that, for example, like the recycling committee, that they would like a little bit of help on designing something that they're trying to promote. So I assist with all of that, as well as support the other departments in creating assets that you see. So posters, announcements, all those kinds of things are generally created in our little almost internal ad agency in the marketing team. Okay, advertising, more traditional style of advertising. We have a nice presence across a variety of platforms, but it's not an inordinate amount. We have really been thoughtful in working with our agency, Docs Advantage, to identify what are those assets that are kind of storytellers themselves and that really represent a lot of what Northwest Arkansas is. So we're very thoughtful about where we spend any money with regard to advertising, and it's usually just to reinforce who we are so that people never forget that. In the print area, we have Arkansas Alumni Magazine. That's a no-brainer to me because, I mean, Butterfield just represents such an enormous number of alumni, of retired professors, some still active professors, staff. You know, we are so reflective of the University of Arkansas. So I think it's important that we continue to have that presence with folks that support the university. We also are frequent advertisers with Cityscapes Magazine, Celebrate Magazine, Ollie. That's another one where, you know, that's just a perfect fit with Butterfield. So it's a good place for us to have our message. And then the Walton Arts Center program, which is seen by so many people. And again, reinforcing that that's, we support the arts, we support that quality of life in Northwest Arkansas. So we can support that and we can also get our message out. We do some digital media. We used to advertise a little bit more on digital media. That's not an area where we need to be spending money now. We have a very strong presence already. I'm thinking of digital media more from like Facebook, Instagram, those type of things. We do have a little bit of digital media promotion that is done on Facebook just when we get a new issue of the magazine. We want to make sure the world knows about that magazine because people who are just familiar with Butterfield or interested in senior issues in Northwest Arkansas love to see that magazine. We do advertise, or we're a supporter of Fayetteville Flyer, which is an online digital publication. It's really an excellent, excellent news source. And because back to the theory of being storytellers, Fayetteville Flyer is a storyteller for our community. And so I think it fits for us as being sort of storytellers for the senior community. We also advertise with the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Really, this is only related to the best of celebrations. So when we're trying to promote voting for Butterfield, unfortunately, this is one of those pay-to-play kind of things, but we think that that reputation is really important. So we do a little bit of digital advertising that makes that voting process really simple for people to choose Butterfield as their choice. And then broadcast, we only do one. We are a KUAF supporter. And so you hear our messages, you know, just kind of throughout the day, just talking about Butterfield and what we offer. So our advertising is not a huge amount of our budget. Social media, this is something, I'll tell you, I get so excited when I do a social media post and I see you all responding to it. Your comments, all of those things, when you share things with other people, not only does that make me happy because I know you're engaging with it, and I want you to see these things and feel proud of them, but when you share them with others or you comment on them, that actually triggers greater visibility for those messages, those posts, so other people will see them. And so you actually kind of help become my legs in carrying those messages even farther. So I encourage you, when you see messages, definitely give them a like or a love, but, you know, comment on them if you like and share them. It's even better because, you know, some of the things we're doing are really interesting and really just such a great reflection of the culture here. We have presence on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We have 3 different channels. So that's a lot of social media. We also, of course, have our website, which is a critical part of our marketing initiatives, but it's also a critical communication tool for all of you. We also have a presence on Google Business. So if somebody Googles senior living Northwest Arkansas and our information comes up, not only do you just see, oh, this is how I would call them or I can get to their website, but I add photography. I try to really make that much more dynamic. So if somebody drills down a little bit deeper, they see who you are. So a lot of the things that we post on Facebook and other social media, I also put in Google Business so people can kind of understand a little bit more what we're about. And like I said, the Butterfield website is a really key, important thing. And that is something that's actually, I am not a web designer. I can do a little bit, but we actually outsource that to Docs Advantage and a partner that they have to host that and make most of our changes. I can do a few things, but I don't want to mess up our website. Okay, the next thing, special events and community engagement. This is not a huge part of what we do, but it's an important part of what we do when we're doing it. On occasion, usually a couple of times a year, we will host Carriage Club to come on campus. We'll do a little mini tour, or we might do some informational sessions like trusts and financial planning, things you need to be thinking of before you get here. So those are just a couple of ways for us to engage those folks while they're still in the waiting part. We do occasionally, not every year, but as we can afford to and see a good opportunity, we'll do some Chamber of Commerce networking events. So we did one last year here that was really successful. That's one of those things I just kind of have to look at my budget and see if I have the dollars. But when possible, it's really nice to get other people from the community, other leaders in business to see what we're about, because that becomes a very viral message for us, and people are always impressed. We also have some other area nonprofit partnerships. So we do a little bit of support, a little bit of sponsorship ourselves. Again, this is not a large part of my budget at all, but I'm very particular about what we support because I'm looking for things that I think reflect what matters to you. And one of the things I know for sure matters to you is the arts. I've seen this bear out just in where I see your names supporting other organizations. So I feel like not only does Butterfield benefit from the programming that is offered by these arts agencies, but you're contributing already. So I want to kind of give even a little bit more push behind the support that you're already giving. One of those would be the Arkansas Alumni Association. Of course, that's not an arts organization, but it's also back to the idea that so much of our population here is connected with the university. It's good for us to support them. And every once in a while, we have a winner at their annual awards event. So that's always exciting. We'll do a little sponsorship for that event, and we love to celebrate our alumni who are also Butterfield residents. Theater Squared is one. Lots and lots of engagement from both Butterfield residents as well as Carriage Club members in Theater Squared. So that's a wonderful partnership for us. And they just announced our new season for 25-26 for Theater Squared. Some of you were at that season announcement, so it was nice to see your faces there. I'm always excited. I serve on their corporate council, so I go to just about everything that they've got going on, and so I'm always happy to see Butterfield folks there. But I'm happy to tell you that we do a show sponsorship, and the show that we are going to be sponsoring in the new season is It's a Wonderful Life. So I think that's going to be a great choice for Butterfield. And definitely I'm going to want to have them come talk to you about that production before it goes up because it's something new for them over the Christmas season. And I just feel like It's a Wonderful Life is such a reflection of Butterfield and, being a little older and looking back on your life and thinking about all the people who influenced it and gave you grace and showed you love. And so that's a great message for us to help to reinforce. And then lastly, Crystal Bridges, or Community Creative Center. That's another amazing, smaller arts agency. One of the reasons why I like us to support Community Creative Center is that they do specific programming for seniors. and they try to make it as much as possible free to seniors to participate. So they go and work really hard to find grants and support to make that possible, and I think that's such a wonderful thing. It's a social outlet as well as a creative outlet, and it's really important. We, in this coming year, are going to be supporting some of their programming that is specifically for veterans, and I'm very excited about that. And I think that, you know, we certainly care very much about our veterans that live here at Butterfield, and so this is just an offshoot of that. And so you'll be seeing more information about that as that kind of comes to fruition. And then Crystal Bridges, we don't financially support Crystal Bridges, but we do have some partnership with them when they've got special events and things that are happening that we know are really perfect for our particular demographic. I will help them get the word out about that. So we like to be kind of on their short list of folks to send information to make sure that you're able to participate when things are happening. All right, I'm getting close to the end. I know I'm probably wearing all of you out, but I want you to understand the depth of what our department does. Printed assets. This is a very physical representation of what you see coming from Butterfield. And I think there's probably not a person here that doesn't love when the new issue of Butterfield Life magazine comes out. It's always exciting to see who's going to be on the cover, what are the new stories, and this is probably my single favorite thing to work on with regard to our sales and marketing responsibilities. It's just, it's such an encapsulation of what Butterfield is, and I think really gets back to that storytelling capacity and more than anything, you know, when I talk to people about it, because sometimes folks are surprised to hear that we distribute it outside of Butterfield as well. So you see it at, you know, some restaurants or various places that have magazines stashed for people to pick up for free. Part of the reason we do that is not just because we're trying to get more people to join the Carriage Club. We're pretty good there. What we want people to understand is what active aging looks like. What does vitality look like for older folks? And you all represent that, as I've said before. And so this magazine helps us to tell that story in such an important way. I want people to feel inspired by the way that you're active and involved and engaged in the sort of community that you have here, but also your accomplishments, the things that you've done in your life, what mattered to you. Those stories matter. And I want to make sure that more than just us gets to read those. We also produce the program and events calendar. That's all in cooperation with Ricky and Michael and their team, and pulling together all those details that, you know, lets you know what you're going to be doing for the next month. It's a big job to do that, and it's one of our fun projects that we enjoy doing. We also have sales and marketing collateral. So the things that are distributed when people ask questions, want to know more about us, we have to have printed materials that we can send them. So we work on those as well. That also includes some of just the fun little things like holiday cards and birthday cards that we send out, because not everything has to be about sales. Sometimes it's about celebration. Media and external relations, this is another area that doesn't take a lot of my time, but when it needs to happen, it needs to happen. Media really for me includes just getting out media releases when we've got something special going on, something important happening, making sure that the community is informed about that. I also coordinate all of our interviews here. That doesn't mean that if a news station calls that it's only me that's going to be on television. In fact, quite likely it won't be me, but my job is to make sure that we get the expert talking about what we're doing and how we're doing it. This was especially true during COVID, when Butterfield was kind of just a little poster child there for a while in the local media about how this was being handled and managed. And so we would always have somebody from healthcare talk about that process, not me, because I'm not the expert about that, but I would sort of relate that to whatever the news request was and make sure the right person is representing Butterfield. I also do a little bit of editorial content, particularly with Cityscapes magazine. Hopefully some of you have seen some of the articles that we're able to get in there periodically. We don't pay to get those in there. That is like the most amazing free advertising you can imagine, because it allows us to tell our story in the context of a story that is more broadly interesting to the community. So we get to be an example, but we're not paying for an ad. That is free, and that's some of the most valuable media that you can get. So I'm always excited when Cityscapes calls and says they would like a new article from us. And then occasionally we'll have some public speaking opportunities. We've even had some where maybe like a financial planner office is wanting to get a little group of people together to talk about what does life plan look like, you know, what are the differences. So we might do some speaking at that or at a civic organization or something like that to talk about what we do. The last thing, and I actually added this slide in at the last, is our Butterfield Ambassador Program. I know many of you are ambassadors, and huge, huge thanks to you for that. The Ambassador Program has really evolved a lot over the last couple of years, and we think it is such an important part of welcoming new residents to campus. It's kind of a concerted effort to make sure that we kind of circle the wagons on the new folks, make sure that they know that we're happy that they're here, that they have someone to walk around and orient them. You know, we have various little tasks and responsibilities that we give to our ambassadors to check in on new people, and the feedback on that has been so positive, both from you serving as ambassadors, but the new people who feel a little less alone in this process, a little less confused. You make such a difference for them. Very important program. And then we also utilize our ambassadors to help us to host events. So when we're having public-facing events like open houses or maybe the Chamber of Commerce, we have our ambassadors here to be sort of our greeters and wayfinders and help make sure that people feel really comfortable here when they're visiting. So very important. We are going to be looking at evolving a couple of aspects of that. That's something that Alice is going to be working hard on in this year. And so keep your ears peeled for more information about what's happening with that. And of course, we're always happy to recruit new ambassadors to get involved. So we appreciate that. That is it. I know you're tired of hearing from me. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, but just know that we, all four of us on the sales and marketing team, truly believe it's an honor to serve this community. It's a lot of work and it's a labor of love. And we just appreciate so much the kindnesses that you show to us, the voice that you help us to extend about what Butterfield is. And so I just want to thank you for that. So if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Anybody? Okay. Well, I'm going to bolt before somebody has one. Ricky, did you want to sign out, or we're good? Okay, well then I get to do the happy wave goodbye and have a great weekend, and thank you for your wonderful attention. Take care.